Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing one of the topic that is city creation. City creation basically we are discussing one of the topic that is design creation. That is basically the Microsoft design basically. That also you can say. So one of the person told that basically this design everything basically which is getting created in the universe basically. That basically up to what level things are created and how many parts is going to create and the exact design basically it might be dumped into the one of the computer basically, and that might be connected with directly with the satellite group basically. So as per the creation basically happens, the design gets changed automatically. So that type of process basically software basically might be exist. Then one of the person told that mostly basically the technology has reached up to that level basically. So this group this might be exist and that basically might be there basically. So one of the person told that assume that basically that is in IBM or basically the Microsoft or basically any of the operating system basically, and that basically is connected with the NASA and ISRO group basically. So they have the track of this everything basically. They have the track of each and everything basically. So assume that basically this design basically which you can see now basically that is basically of bad incidents basically. This design basically you can say that is basically of good incidents. This design you can say that is of some mixed incidents basically. This design basically you can say that is basically of romantic incidents basically. This incidents basically you can say that is of all mix entire mix incidents basically. So the incidents basically are equal to stories basically, and stories are equal to blood groups basically. That also you can say. That also basically you can say. So one of the person told that basically that also you can say basically. So this is the blood group basically which is going to be created basically. So one of the person told that which education sectors basically are used in the creative designs of the software industry basically. So one of the person told that software in software basically the design basically which might be used is some software related incidents basically. So one of the person told that basically the software basically are used basically in the incidents basically. So the software basically are used. For example, I will take one example. As in that basically, mm, as in that basically, entire Asia army groups are one basically. So one of the person told that yes, they are basically one basically. That basically everybody knows basically that all Asia group basically are one basically. So they told that basically they basically can do anything basically to save the Asia basically country, and who basically are creating problem in Asia group basically, they basically enters into their computers also basically, and they like that basically they creates the problem basically because they want to secure the Asia land basically. So up to that level basically they do also basically. So one of the person told that basically they can do up to that level also basically. They basically can do up to that level. So one of the person told that this design basically which you can see basically that is basically of the bad incidents basically. So the bad incidents basically, for example, one person basically is not getting job and is trying for job basically, that basically they have added into this design basically, and that basically has become into that has converted into the business basically, because design equal to energies basically, and energy basically has converted into the business nowadays basically. So the bad incidents basically which happens into his life now basically, they group basically keeps on giving more incidents basically bad basically, so that basically they say that basically the energy basically is it in the bad incidents basically energy which is increasing, that is having good energy basically. So that also basically converts into the business basically. So one of the person told that bad incidents, good incidents, then the romantic incidents, then each and every incidents basically which happens in the world basically, that has converted into the business, and business equal to universe design basically. So the universe group basically say that basically we are the biggest businessman basically in the universe basically. No, not in the universe basically, in the planet basically. So they do the business basically of the incidents basically which are basically happening. And if basically they say that basically we want bad incidents up to this level, then basically our planet have to do that basically. Otherwise basically there is no option. Otherwise basically the universe group basically will destroy the area only basically. If they don't, if the Earth planet basically, that is the Bollywood group basically, if they don't do, then basically they creates problem basically to the Bollywood group only basically. That is the Bollywood group and the Peace group basically. And the Peace group basically and Bollywood group have to do that basically. So that type of thing also basically are there basically. So one of the person told that this stories, everything basically which Bollywood group basically has prepared, that is prepared according to the design part basically. So one of the person told that who basically the rich people basically never gets the trouble basically, right? Rich people basically never gets the trouble. The trouble only gets, that is basically the poor people basically, who basically don't have the money, who basically don't have the income so much. They basically struggle for the income. They only basically have the bad life basically. The rich people basically never have the bad life basically, because they have the money basically, and from money basically they can purchase anything basically. So that type of thing also basically are there. So this is the design, and this is the stories basically, and which is created by this group basically, and which is these stories basically they prepare on the base of city creations, and city creation happens on the base of city creation basically creates on the base of nuclear energies and power companies data, and according to that only basically the story gets creates. So you can just imagine basically the stories are basically getting created in the universe basically. The stories basically are getting created into the universe basically. One lakh 75,000 cities basically are created. Nuclear power companies, energy, stories, and war basically. Then problem solution. Then basically the new blood groups comes into the picture, and their creation also basically starts on the base of this group basically. And then basically the everything basically comes into the picture basically. The education sector, other works, and then basically the human needs of the particular sector basically. So you can just imagine basically the things basically which is world equal to story basically. That also you can say basically. So world is equal to stories. And planet creation equal to real stories basically, and real energies basically. And that are basically this. So you can just imagine basically the creation. So next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic, that is universe creation. And the universe creation basically is totally dependent on the earth planet creation, that is the land creations. And in this basically we have taken that basically Bollywood group basically prepares the stories according to the city creations, and city creations are basically done on the base of these requirements, that is the design requirements. And the design requirements and the city creations data are basically prepared from the these groups, and this group basically prepares the base of the stories basically. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this.